Hi, I'm Shelley Wood and this is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. Today I'm going to show you how to make a long sundress. You can have it with straps or strapless, and it should fit your 10-inch dolls like Vintage Skipper from the 1980s, Moana 10-inch dolls, and similar sized dolls. Before we begin, please go to shelleywood.com to download and print this free PDF sewing pattern. You'll also need 1/2-inch folded bias tape, and use the pattern to cut out the pieces that you see right here. Now use the longer of the two skirt patterns. First, create a hem along the longest edge of the skirt by folding the fabric once and then a second time. Sew the hem. Now I used a sewing machine for this one, but for my blue dress I whip stitched my hem. This is how the sewing machine hem looks from close up. It's a little more work, but I actually prefer the whip stitch. If you need help with the whip stitch, I do have a tutorial for that. Just look in the description below this video on YouTube. Okay, now we're going to work with the bodice for a while. You fold the felt bodice at the dart point and sew halfway up the bodice like you see here. Now your bodice will have a curve to it. Follow the same directions for the second dart. Here's how the bodice looks with 2 darts. Clip the extra felt fabric away from both darts. Here's how your bodice looks from the quote-unquote wrong side. The wrong side just means it's the side where our stitches show. Starting about 1.5 centimeters in, gather the top of your skirt. The top is opposite of the hem. Stop gathering about 1.5 centimeters from the other edge. So now you should have 2 ungathered edges. If you need help learning how to gather fabric, again, I do have a tutorial for that in the description below this video on YouTube. This is just a quick video showing me gathering this skirt. I like to call this my Moana celestial dress because the fabric looks like it's from the night sky. It's just such a beautiful fabric. I think my brother got this for me when he went to Alaska. Beautiful fabric. And you can see that I didn't gather that final little bit. Now do not tie off your gather thread until you've matched the bodice's waist length to the gathered part of the skirt. And you need to pin the bodice in place. As long as you have that 1.5 centimeters of overhanging fabric on each side of the skirt, you can tie a knot in your gather thread. Then it's okay to remove the straight pins for a minute because you're going to want to do a little adjusting of the gathers so that they are more even. Backstitch to attach the bodice to the skirt. If you need help with the backstitch, I have a tutorial for that. I know, I have a lot of tutorials. But here I am doing the backstitch to attach my celestial skirt to my turquoise blue felt bodice that you see on the celestial dress on Moana. Of course, this video is going very fast, so like I said, you might want to go back and look at my backstitch tutorial. It's a very short, very simple tutorial video. Now your dress looks like this on one side and like this on the other side. Gently flip up the felt bodice, and as you do, fold down the skirt's side wings. Then fold the side in toward the skirt once and a second time. making the skirt side flush with the felt edge. Stitch to create a back closure. That will be 1.5 inches, as you see right here, or approximately 4 centimeters long on both sides of the skirt. Now we need our 1/2 inch folded bias tape. Open one end of the bias tape and fold the cut edge inside the bias tape's fold. Wrap the bias tape around the top of the bodice, keeping the fold you made flush with the bodice's side, just like this. Whip stitch along the side of the bias tape and all along the bottom of the bias tape, keeping the bias tape attached to the cardboard until you get to the other side of the bodice. Okay, so I open it up, I give it a fold, I wrap it around the felt bodice, I start stitching that end so that the end is closed off. I actually did a kind of an up stitch and then a down stitch of the whip stitch. And then I start to attach it to the bodice all along the bottom of the bias tape. Keep stitching until you get to that other side. Now once you're 1 centimeter from the bodice's other end, or a hair more than 1 centimeter from the end, cut the bias tape, leaving just enough on the end to fold it under, and stitch it in place, flush with the other side. Again, I'm using the whip stitch here. So I fold this raw edge in, and then I give it a regular fold for the bias tape, which is a folded bias tape. So you just use that fold it came with. You try to make it so it's flush with the felt where my thumb is, okay? And again, we'll close that off. Finish attaching the bias tape to the bodice as needed. Pin the dress onto your doll inside out. A straight pin works fine for this. Now we're going to work with the straps. For a strapless dress, of course, skip ahead to where we fold the dress like this. Now, holding your strap in one hand, fold a long edge inward as shown. That's about 1/2 centimeter. Fold the opposite long edge inward the same way, and then fold the whole strap in half like a hot dog. Okay, so you fold one of the long edges, and then you fold the other long edge, and then you fold the whole thing in half like a hot dog bun. Press the fold, whip stitch along the open end of the strap, just like you see me doing here. Now follow these directions for both straps. Notice that the ends are not sewn, but that's okay for this dress. Pin a strap to the bodice in front and in back to estimate a good position. Adjust the position as needed. Once you have a strap pinned in place, remove the dress from the doll and whip stitch, attaching the strap in front and back. Now, if you're careful, and this does take a little bit of trickiness, you can avoid sewing all the way through to the other side of the bias tape. Attach both straps this way, just like you see here. Now your dress looks like this on the wrong side, and it looks like this on the right side. Okay, it's time for those people who didn't want straps to join us. Fold the dress in half with right sides together like you see me doing here. This is such a cute little dress. Oh my goodness, it turned out adorable. You're going to sew from the back closure area at the base of the closure hems to the hem at the bottom of the dress. invert the dress. That's what I'm doing right here. Attach 3 or 4 size 3/0 snaps. Need help with snaps? I have a tutorial for that one too. Just look in the description below. Now you're ready to try the dress on a doll. For more free printable PDF sewing patterns for making doll clothes that will fit dolls of many shapes and all different sizes, please remember to visit my website, shelleywood.com. Hey, did you know that you could design your own doll pants patterns from scratch with just a limited amount of sewing knowledge? Pattern design is made simple by connecting your doll's measurements with a template I give you during my course. I'm Shelley Wood, the doll clothing designer. I own Shelley Wood LLC and the website shelleywood.com. In my Creative Spark online learning course on doll pants design, I'll teach you the basic fundamentals of pattern design, like how do seam allowances work, before we move on to work on designing our own leggings, jeans, fly front pants, and even overalls. So please join me. I would love to see you on the Creative Spark online learning platform. Come see what we offer. Again, I'm Shelley Wood, one of the instructors.